Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Creative Gems. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Just a quick video today, or it's not real quick, but just showing you how to make a basic little box. Measures 4x4 when you're finished, and it's quite simple to do, and how to decorate your ribbon so that you don't have to tie it and untie it every time you want to put something in it, or when you're whoever you're giving it to decides they don't want to keep opening it all the time. Just a quick couple of things before I start. If you would like to see any of my videos and the PDF for all of these videos, just go into my Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. It's a public group that you can join, and all my videos, the links to my videos and PDFs for all of the measurements are in that group. I also have a Facebook page called Cards by Laura, and in there is lots and lots of card ideas. I sell my cards at the moment. I've just started up selling them at markets again. I've just done one, and I've got a few more coming up between now and Christmas, so I'm hoping to sell quite a few cards. But if there is any in there that you like and you're wanting to purchase, that's fine. Just send me a private message and I can let you know where I am and prices and things. I don't put prices on in there because they change all the time. And also, if there's if you're a Stampin' Up, if you buy Stampin' Up and you would like some of the measurements for some of the cards that are in there, I'm quite happy to pass them on to you. These ones in Cards by Laura, there's no PDFs or anything in there for those. They're just my cards that I make regularly. These in here, lots of them are fun folds or fancy folds or 3D projects. Most of my videos are that at the moment. And at the moment I'm doing a lot of Christmas things, so we've got some few gift ideas for you to do. Now we'll just get started. This is the little box, and as I said, it measures 4x4. It holds quite a bit in here. You can fill it up with chocolates or little gifts. Plenty of room. I've just stuffed it with some cellophane, which this here, you get a nice little bag of cello. We have a local little cheapy shop up the road called Stacks. There's another one called Choice Discounts. There's Overflow. They all sell this shredded cello, which is $2 a bag, and you get quite a bit in there. It goes a long way, and it's good for using to fill up the bottom of your boxes. So that's the box we're doing today, and as you can see, it's got a little space here so you can see the base. So you can do your base in a different color to your top, and the top is all totally DSP, so whichever design you like. That way you haven't got to decorate all your little panels. It's just a piece of designer series paper. So we'll get started. Now my base for the next one I'm doing, I've chosen basic white for the base, and because you can see this one, it does cave in a tiny little bit. But because I'm using white, I'm going to use the thick white. You only need an A4 size. It'll fit into A4. You just need to cut it down a little bit. And the base measures, I've got all the things on here, measures 8x8. But before we score, I'm going to just cut a smidge off two sides. So it'll be off that, two adjoining sides. So I'll cut a smidge off that side and that side. And then I'm going to score after that. That way your base is just a fraction, because the lid, when you do your lid, it's the same size, but you don't cut any off it. When you cut it off the base, you'll see that it makes it a fraction smaller, that your lid will go on without buckling. And then I'm going to show you how to do all of that first. We'll go ahead with that. Now I haven't cut the smidge off this yet. And now I'll show you my smidge. I just go where your track is on your trimmer. I just go to the other side of this line, the grey part of the track. Just take it over to that, just on the right hand side of that. And I'll show you how much it takes off. So you're taking about that much off. and off 2 adjoining sides. That way it makes it just that little bit smaller that it'll fit on nice and neatly. So we've got those 2 pieces taken off. They can go in there. Then you can score at 2 inches on all 4 sides. Just make sure you don't score before you cut that smidge off. You need to score it after. So we're just going around all 4 sides and scoring at 2 inches. And when I get to the lid, I've made it 1 3/4, so that way you can see that 1 1/2, sorry, I did. You can see that 1/2 inch of the base below. Gives you a nice contrast to your designer series paper. So I've scored all those. Now I'm going to fold and burnish, which I've got. I didn't get anything out, but there's not much that you need in this. You do need a fair bit of tear and tape. I do suggest tear and tape because I always use that for any boxes or 3D projects. It just gives you a little bit more strength when you're putting it together. Now to cut, I'll get my cutting scissors. I like the little small ones for cutting. And you're going to cut up, and I go a certain way with this. I'm going to cut up here and here, and I'm going to notch. Your outside corners here will be your tabs to fold in. I'm just cutting up that score line and cut off a notch. I'll just get my little dish out to put my scraps in. Saves me cleaning up afterwards. And I'm going to take a little notch off that side as well, just up to that score line. Same here. Just go straight across and do the other corner. I don't turn and turn and turn and do each one by itself. I do one side and then I'll go across to the other side. So that's that side done. Turn it around and do the same. So you're mirror imaging your corners. This you can do for any standard size box, and I'll explain to you how you make a box to fit whatever gift or cards. If you're boxing up cards, all you do is measure the length of your whatever you're doing. Say it's a card that's 5 by 7, you measure the length, which the height I should say, 5, add the height of the side of the box, which in this case is 2 inches high, and my finished box will be 4 by 4, so I've added 4 inches plus 2 plus 2. That's 8 inches, and then it's going to be square, so it'll be 8 by 8, and just cut the smidge off. So whatever object you've got, you just measure that way the sides that you want twice, because you've got 2 sides, and that will be your width. And if you've got a different length, you'll do the same. You'll measure this way, add the 2 sides, and that will be the size of your cardstock, and then you work from there. So you can make any box any size you like. You can go up to a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. In this case I only had to use the A4. If I wanted a bigger box, I would then go to the 12 by 12. I think you could go up to probably a size 6. It depends on the size of your sides as to what size cardstock you'll need. Now I'm just putting, and you probably can't see it as well, I'm putting 3 rows. I did 4 on the last one. I've got little pictures in my PDF to go by of where to put your tape. So I'm putting 3 strips across these tabs. There's not much to do on the base. Most of the work is on the lid. We've got a very windy day here today in Brisbane. I'm recording this, so when you see it, it'll be in the morning. I'm here in the afternoon at the moment. I'm just running a little bit behind, so I thought I'd record and upload it for you later today, and you will see it on Monday morning at 9 AM Queensland time. We've had a little bit of rain in this last week, but it's all gone now. Hopefully we've got a few fine days. Nothing to be too concerned about, no flooding or anything. It's quite nice at the moment, quite pleasant. I love summer. I'm not a winter person. I don't like the cold. It was quite windy today and cold, so I had put a jacket on. But all is good. I don't think I could live in a really cold place. I'll just snip that little bit off there. I don't need it hanging over the edge. And also I go around and burnish my tear and tape, so it's not going to lift when you take the backing off. I like to press it down nice and firmly. I have shown you tricks before about using I'll do it on my lid when I get to it. Use your Tombow lid for putting your tape on. It's a quicker way than picking your scissors up and down. So we'll just take the backs off 2 sides of this to start with. And as I mentioned, I used the thick white cardstock for this just to give it a little bit more strength in the base. Now when you do this, you need to make sure that edge there is nice and level with your down with the edge of the box there, so it makes it nice and square. And the same with this side. Just keep your glue out of your tape out of the road until you're ready to stick it down. So that's that side. Then you can take the tape backing off these 2. On this side, I had a class, well, when you're watching this, it won't be class. I did have a class this morning, but it would be last week for you. Had some lovely ladies here making one Christmas card and a few other fancy fold cards. So this one here, I'm doing exactly the same, just lining it up with that edge nice and flush against the edge. And that is the base of your box, ready to put some gifts in, or chocolates. Chocolates would be nice. You could even line the bottom of that. If you do a lining on the bottom, make it, because that's 4x4, I would make it 1/8 of an inch smaller, so you can get it in nice and neatly. And it also, you'd leave a little white border around the edge, but you can decorate the bottom, but I'm not going to today. Now the paper I have chosen, we'll just put that aside over there. The paper I've chosen is out of this Fitting Florets paper. This is a lovely Christmas design for me. You could go and colour these little berry things here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the green and white. And the lid, I've done up this one as well. It measures 10 by 10. The other was 8 by 8. And because this is a reinforced lid, and what I mean by reinforced, it's got a double side on the sides here, so that one side gets folded in and it's got a nice neat edge around here. It's not like the base where you've got the sharp edge along there. It's a double DSP on the sides, which is called reinforced. So my base in here will still be 4x4. My sides are only going to be 1.5 inches high, but that's twice on each side, because I've got 1.5 inches this side and 1.5 inches turned in here. So that's 3 inches extra on each side. So 4 by 3 is 7 and 3 is 10. So, and it's a square, so it measures 10 by 10. And then I'm going to score and I don't trim any off. You don't take the smidge off this one because you want it to fit over the base. The score for this one is 1.5 and 3. So that's your 1.5, and then another 1.5 here. I'll show you when I get to scoring what I mean by that. And then I'm going to put tear and tape on the tabs on each corner, and then on the inside underneath, just hold the inside down. So we shall score this at 1.5 and 3 on all 4 sides. And then you can see how to do a reinforced. This this is only good for up to a certain size as well, because you can't get cardstock and paper big enough. This ended up 10 by 10. You could go a little bit bigger to the 12 by 12. So it's 1.5 and 3 on there. And we'll just keep going all the way around. And my scoring blade keeps popping out. One of the lips is broken off the... I don't know if anyone else has ever had trouble with their scoring blade. The little lips that hold it into the track, they break off. And I've had a couple, they send them out. They sent a couple out free of charge. But I'm not sure. They should make them available in the catalogue to purchase. Just be careful when you score your DSP that you don't press too hard, because it will rip your DSP. I'm not going too heavily with this. 1.5 and 3. Once it's scored lightly, you can burnish it anyway, and so that's that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need that again for, I don't think we need it again at all actually. Now I'm going to fold all these score lines. That's the back side of this paper. I'm going to fold and burnish. Sometimes I fold and burnish after I've cut, but this one I'm going to do it first. There's the other one there. They're a little bit hard to see on this paper. Plus I didn't press very heavily. I didn't want to tear the paper. I did do a template on this where I've cut, scored one earlier. But there are little pictures in my PDF to show you where to cut and where to score. This makes a nice lid with the DSP. I think that's it. Now, to get our reinforced bit, we're going, and I'll mark it on the back side here so you can see. You've got, with a pencil, you've got 4 outside squares here on each corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to cut away these 3 outside, that one, and that one. We're going to cut them out on all, and I'm going to do the same as the base where I go from there to there. But this one I'm going to cut out these 3 corner pieces, and I'll show you how I do it so it's nice and in some sort of order. I'm going to cut up that score line to the second score line, cut up this score line to the second score line, take off those 2 outside boxes, squares, and half of the next square. So you end up with that. You've got these 3 outside, 1, 2, 3 outside ones taken off. Then you can notch, and you can notch while you're going, or you can do it after. I'm going to notch my tab, or I always notch my tabs. They fit in, they help your box fit in together a bit better. I'm going to keep that little piece of DSP. They're good for little decorations and pieces. I'm not going to throw them away. Nice, handy to have. And also this outside, I'll go across and do this one, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go again up to the second score line, up to the second score line, take off the 2 outside, and half of the next one. So, and then I'll notch that tab on both sides. Like so. Then you'll see this is going to come in like this, and this piece will come over and go inwards like that. So you can notch these to the very outside edges. You don't need to notch in here, but these 2 outside to the first score line, you can notch. That will just help it fit in there a little bit better when you come to put it in. So that's that side done. This will be the same. We're going to turn it around. Actually, you can notch a little bit on this outside one as well. If you do all your cutting first and then all your notching, that's a good way to remember what you've got to do. I'll do it as I go this time. So we've notched all of those, not in here on this piece here. You don't need to notch that. Then we'll turn it around completely and do a mirror image to the other side. And we'll go up this one, up the next one, to the second score line on both. Then take off those two outside ones and half of this one. Then we can notch. We'll notch this one. Notch your tab, both sides. Take off all the little feathery bits that you're taking off. And notch the outside of this one. And that's all of those done. And we're going to go up this one. If you look across, you'll see you're mirror imaging the one on the other side. So you're doing exactly the same as on the other side. Take off the two outside ones and half the next one. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Notch this little piece. Doesn't need much of a notch, it just helps you fit it in a little bit better. And then notch your tab. And the outside of this one. And that is all. So if you flip it over, you'll end up looking like that. So your notches are in here, just on the tab, not on the actual outside edge of the box. And the same, you've notched all of these and those. So that's all that done. Now, for tear and tape, this is where you do need to I'll fold those inwards. All of those should have been folded. I don't know if I did that one. Give them a nice crease. So with the side that you want outwards, up, you're going to put your tear and tape on the tabs only. So that will be that one all the way around. I will show you how I do the quicker way. I just take the top of my tombow, and I'm right-handed, so I want the tape in my right hand. And I'm just going to put the tape down. You can run this across the tape and flick it off. Sit it down, run that across and flick it off. So much quicker than picking scissors up and down. If you're just doing a couple of pieces, fair enough, pick them up and down. Sometimes you get a little furry bit, but I just keep going. So all of these, I've put 3 strips of tear and tape on. Flip it around and do the other side. And I'm going to put the ribbon on before I assemble the box. And I'll show you why. It is so much easier. Plus you get it nice and even all the way around. I have just learnt how to tie a different sort of bow. So bear with me if I've done the one I'm going to put on this, but I will show you how to do it in a fashion. I've only just practiced it this morning. So if it doesn't go right, it doesn't go right. It was from Tammy Wilson. She did a video the other day on bow tying, and it is so pretty. And I thought, oh, I can do that. I'll have a go at that. So we'll see what happens. Now, if you flip it over, you need some more tear and tape on this side. And it will go on these outside edges. This will fold down inside the box. So you're just going to go the very outside edge, just in a little bit along there. And it's just the 4 strips all the way along on the very outside of the longest panels that you've got, the longest edges. 1 on each. That's those. So you've got 1 on each of the outside edges. I'll just burnish all of those. I don't think I did these yet either. Right, that keeps tearing up. So that's the basis of your lid. That's all you need to do with that tear and tape. Now I have got ribbon, which I'm going to use this. I've got this metallic, what's it called? Metallic mesh ribbon. It is so pretty, and I'm just going to put it across here. I can't put it on with glue dots, but it's going to wrap around underneath, right under here. And I'm not going to pull that out. I'll pull that off first. I should have put that on after, but that's okay. We can do it now. And I need my tip tool. So just take those off. With the normal ribbon, you could put glue dots under it, but this one, a glue dot's just going to come straight through. And I'm just sticking it down to the inside of that. And the same on this side. I'll just make sure I center it fairly well. So it's just wrapped straight across that. I'll cut that off. And that's going over the top of that. That tear and tape will hold it. Once we get the bow on the top, it will all hold itself together. You can put glue dots underneath then. So that's across that way. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just won't push it down too hard or my tear and tape will end up sticking to the mat underneath. And I'll just cut that off again. I've gone through a few rolls of that. So just sort of center that on the sides here again. This will all get tucked in under all your tabs, so you don't have to worry about having the taking the ribbon on and off and undoing a bow. We'll just flap that across there and center that there. Flap it across there. So that's that. If you do all that to start, and I have made my bow, which is this one. It's ribbon and a bow. I was thinking of putting ribbon across that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to have it in this section here. But we can put that bit on later. So long as you get, with this one here, I did the copper and the white ribbon, and I wrapped it all the way around as well. So that goes like that. Now, you want to do these little tabs first. This will go, we'll take all of these off. I'll just do 2 sides together. I'm holding it up because I've taken the backing off that tear and tape on the inside. You can put your ribbon across first and then put those tear and tapes down so you're not taking the backing off and having it get stuck, but this is not too bad. So I'm going to line that up nice and neatly just on this bottom section. You'll see in a minute where the other section goes. So this is the bottom part of the box, the lid, I should say. the bottom section of the lid. And I'll take this one off as well. I do like my tear and tape, especially for boxes. So we're going to come in with this one. And the same with this one. And I'll give it a good push down in a sec once I get them in. So if you go inside in there and give them a good burnish so they're all nice and flat for you. Then these will come to, this is where I've taken off all the 4 in there, the backs of the tear and tape, and they will just flap down inside. And because you've notched them, they're going to fit nice and neatly in there, and that ribbon will hold itself down now that you've stuck all that down. It doesn't need, I'm going to put the bow on with glue dots, so that will hold the center of it. All those can go down inside, and I'm just going to burnish. Just be careful you don't pull your ribbon up. It just gets stuck down along the bottom edge where you put your tear and tape. You can put a second row of tear and tape in there too if you feel that you want to have it stuck better than what it is, but that's quite enough. And your ribbons, it looks quite neat in there with the ribbon, and that's the top of it. With this other one, I put tear and tape all the way across the ribbon, but then I wanted to get my twine underneath, so I had to lift it up a little bit, and I've put glue dots to hold it down again. But this one, I'll easily get the bow and the ribbon. You can pinch this up like that. I might put something around that to hold it in the middle. So that's that. Now we'll just double check that this goes on okay, which it fits perfect. Straight on, no buckling, no nothing. And that's because we took that 1/8 of an inch off that bottom piece. They were cut originally to the same size, but taking that off makes it fit spot on. So that's that. Then I have made this. The lady that I watched, Tammy Wilson, with the video, she used, and I'll show you how to do it with this. I've cut some more, but I used the metallic mesh ribbon as well as a normal ribbon, that just the little one split in half. So I'll put that one on the box in a second. I'll just show you how she did this. Now these she's cut, well, I measured about 24 inches of ribbon, and I'll get the 2 separated. We'll cut them off in a sec. I haven't taken them off the roll yet. So I've got around about 24 inches, and I've cut it up the middle of the, this is a lovely ribbon to work with because you've got the bordery edge either side. Any fine nice ribbon like this is lovely to split and work with. So I've cut that right up the middle to 24 inches. So I'll just cut that off there. That's where that was. So I've got two lots of that. And then I've got this lighter green, which is soft succulent. That one was evening evergreen. And the same here. I think I've cut about the same length, pretty much. I might just cut it off there. Finished with those. And they're cut. So I end up with 4 strips of ribbon, around about the same length. I think my lighter ones are a little bit shorter, but that's okay. I think we've still got enough. Now watch, it might be, I know with the mesh ribbon it was a little bit hard to work with. I even tried it with my reverse tweezers, where, I don't know if anyone's got these, where you push and then when you let go it holds on to whatever you want it to hold on to. If you're tying a bow, these are good. You just hold the center of the bow with the tweezers and then take it out when you're finished. So that's another way. Now I left a little bit of a tail down this end to start, because that's, you want the tails down here. And she went, now bear with me if I go wrong, she did a loop up that way, and you've got to hold it with your 2 fingers. Keep those 4 lengths out of the road. another loop this way, and to whatever size you want your loops, keep holding it in the center, another loop that way, using all 4 pieces. You need about 10 fingers all at once, and then another loop back this way, and then this last one, after you've grabbed it in the middle, she wound that around. Hang on, I'll get all these in the nice. This is where these tweezers come in handy. If I hold that with that, it's holding all the center for me. I think I might just use my fingers for this one because I did it all right with just my fingers before. But if you've got those tweezers, it takes a little bit of practice. I haven't had much practice yet. So you've got your 4 pieces still. You're going to wrap it around like that. Excuse me if I go out of camera. She did it so quickly, but she's probably done hundreds of them. So wrap it around and tuck it back in under that loop. We'll see what happens. It's not easy to get through there. Wait on, I think I might hold it with the tweezers. Bear with me for I'll practice for a minute, but then I'll give up because I don't want to waste your time while you're watching me do this. 1, 2, that was my last loop there. But practice makes perfect, as they say. This won't be perfect, but it'll be close enough. So if you do that with the tweezers, wrap it around, and then bring it up here, you might be able to, at least you can let it go, and then tuck it under there. Pull, just make sure you've got the 4 bits through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pull it tight. It's not the best of bows. It's not going to end up, I'm going to start again. I'll give it one more go, but you can see the gist of it if you keep going. We'll have another try, just once more. I should have practiced it a while ago, or just showed you the bow like I normally do. So we've got those 4. Straighten them all out again. We'll go 1. It's always when you're on camera that things don't go right. You could make smaller loops. One, 2, 3, 4. Get them all under my finger. I think you just have to hold your nose right. This was the hard bit, trying to loop it back under itself. She did it really easily. No, it's not going to play the game on camera. But you get the gist, and I'm not going to pull that apart. I'm going to keep practicing. This is how I ended up with this one, and this one was harder, I tell you, because of this meshy ribbon. It didn't want to play the game, but it took me a little while to get it done. But have a go and see how you go. That's going to go on the top of that. I might try and put some glue dots. I'm going to pull this together here and put some glue dots in the center. We won't attempt that other one until we get it right again, especially on camera, because that's not fun to watch. Just needed a bit of practice. So glue dots are good for just about anything. They're quite strong. So we'll just pull that together in the center. You won't see it. I don't know if any of you noticed, but my glue dots are on the roll here, whereas when you buy them, they're on here I went away for the weekend and I used my glue dots the other way. I normally rewind my roll because I don't like them the other way. I don't know why they changed them. I can't get used to them, so I rewind my rolls. And I hadn't rewound it to take away with me, so I just put up with it all weekend. And when I got home on Monday, I rewound the lot, the whole roll, onto a piece of card, or the normal spare roll that I had. Now I'm going to put some glue dots at the back of this. Normally I'd make a bow with my bow maker. This one here was made with my bow maker. It's a tiny little gadget that you just wind the ribbon around and it makes a bow for you. So that's that one. I'm going to leave those edges hanging off. And I've also got, which I should have put on, this little tag. I can pull it on over the top of this part anyway, so it's not going to matter. This twine is a retired one. It's the silver baker's twine we used to have years ago. It's got a little silver thread through the white baker's twine. So, and I've just looped it through. The stamp set I used is the cottage wreaths, this little Merry Christmas here, and I've just stamped around the edges with these little fluffy leaves in Evening Evergreen, and that's in Merry Merlot, the red. So I've just put that tiny little bit of red on there to make it Christmassy, and I've looped my ribbon through, and I'm just going to, actually, I might just see if I can lift that, which I can, and I shall wrap this around. Wrap this entire bow around my bow, which is easy enough to do. I'll just tie a knot in a bow. Make sure it's up the right way. Let it dangle down a little bit. Seem to be all fingers today. Just going to tie a knot there and then a bow. A bit of a bow. It doesn't have to be a bow. We've got that looped onto there. This is just for a bit of decoration anyway. Trying to find the ends of the threads. That's enough. And then we shall stick it back on. I'll go on there with the little Merry Christmas. How pretty is that? That's the other one. And that's my little box. Nice for little gifts and stuff. Just a sheet of DSP. Oh, that one hasn't got the base under it. I wonder why it was so low. And that is that. I hope you enjoyed that. Cute little box. Just a sheet of DSP cut down a little bit, and an A4 sheet of colour or white cardstock, whatever you choose to match your DSP. And simple little box. Don't attempt the bow just yet until you have a bit of a practice. But you can do any sort of, you could put a flower on the top. You don't need the ribbon. If you don't want to do the ribbon, that's a nice way of doing the ribbon, so it's down tucked in underneath. But you can just do a decoration on the top. Love to see your ideas. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I shall catch you all again next week, and I hope you have a lovely week. If you wish to subscribe, just press the subscribe button down the bottom, and you can watch any of my videos. I'd love to have you on board, and I'm doing quite well so far. I'm quite surprised how many people I've got subscribed now. But that's it. Have a nice week, and I'll catch you all again later. Bye for now.